A lot of the times, when we're trying hard to solve our own personal problems, we often beat around the bush rather too much. We try to associate them with anything but our own sense of accountability and responsibility. We often let ourselves float and glide around the emotional waves that our problems spawn from within us. And you know what? Like I've said many times, this is actually our default response towards distress. We still possess the innate animalistic qualities to process emotions and react accordingly to our surroundings. However, unlike animals who don't have that higher degree of cognitive abilities, we possess the evolved and systematic ability to solve problems. Now, this can be either a gift or a curse, depending on our level of awareness and competency to utilize them. Our tendency to want to translate our emotions into plausible language 9 times out of 10 will always result in an inaccurate interpretation due to the constant interference of our own unconscious egos, causing us to lose our crucial sense of control and authority over ourselves. This lack of understanding and the inability to interpret the source of our emotions is what lead us to spiral further into self-deprecation and desperation. Again, we hate and are afraid of those that we cannot understand. Animals feel emotions, react to them, and they're gone. We, on the other hand, dwell on them, intensifies them extensively to the point where we feel constant anxiety well beyond the moment of occurrence. This is our curse as human beings, if you want to call it that way. And because we lack that personal understanding and mastery over our emotions and their sources, our selfish nature kicks in, and we then start to point fingers on external circumstances, such as other people, unfortunate events, and metaphysical entities like spirits and bad luck, to try to desperately make quick sense out of everything. Or we completely dismantle ourselves from our own sense of self-esteem by pointing and voicing out all of our problems while desperately hoping for sympathy to lick us in the arse, instead of rationally finding effective ways to fix our problems. This is where the brutal tool of tough love is necessary. Reality does not care about your feelings, nor does it care about the mountainous amount of fears and insecurities that you have created for yourselves, or because you couldn't accept their unfavorable effects on you. Hate and cry all you want. It won't give a shit. Even if you die begging for it to change, it will treat you indifferently like you never exist. Reality only favors those who blend into its nature and find ways to leverage from it. Every problem has a source, just like every effect has a cause. And it is your responsibility to find that source. This is why tough love is so effective for moments like these. Because it skips over all the touchy-feely, wallowing bullshit, hits you with a big slap in the face, and brings you face to face directly in front of the source of your problems, which more often than not always involve your own derogatory and pitiful attitude towards facing adversities. A lot of people treat tough love as a harsh and insulting method to consult someone into self-improvement, even calling it bullying, harassment, or verbal assault. I mean, if it goes way too often and far from the problems at hand, then yes, but other than that, I completely disagree. Because it's just your sensitive, delusional, and egotistical asses that are unable to take the visceral and unrelenting entirety of your circumstances, especially those mentally stifling ones that you create and maintain illusions for. Sympathy and empathy do not solve problems. They only negate their effects over you momentarily while also debilitating your tolerance towards them. If you are a rational person, or a person who is objectively driven, regardless if you were initially offended by the blunt and ruthless way someone calls you out for your personal irresponsibility and incompetency, deep down you will actually feel a great sense of relief that someone actually points out the source of your problems. Because now you have unlocked or discovered that much needed sense of awareness, understanding, and authority over them, even if it is only a minute sense in magnitude. All it takes now are the practical actions you need to undertake to eventually solve them or at least mitigate their effects on you. Tough love brings you into full attention and renders you completely and necessarily powerless as they viscerally illustrate the natural consequences of your behavior, which is the perfect way to get you to submit or concede your hold on any ideals that are withholding you from making the necessary changes to save yourselves from repeating the same mistakes all over again. Do not hate those people who gave you a bit of tough love, because although they might look and sound like they're bullying or insulting you, in actuality they actually care about you enough to want to muster up all that rational passion to give you the incentivization that you desperately need. They may seem like assholes, but they are the necessary assholes. That is why I also highly encourage you gentlemen to find mentors that occasionally give you some tough love. Because if they really don't give a shit about you, they wouldn't say a damn thing and would just ignore you or let you dwell and wallow in your own problems for as long as you like, while secretly laughing at and capitalizing on your misery. Pay more attention to the content of their words, not the context, so that you don't mistake applicable constructive criticisms for personal attacks or irrational feedbacks. Thank you for watching.